Hi there, welcome back to the shop. Real quick, before we get into it, I wanted to ask you something. Have you ever been standing at the lumber aisle in a big box store, or maybe you're mid-project standing in front of your table saw, and you're not sure if you have the right blade or even what blade's in your table saw? Yeah, same here. Today we're fixing that. We're going to break down table saw blades, blade component names, what the numbers mean, what the angles mean, and which blade you should be reaching for depending on what you're cutting. Okay, so let's start with the blade itself, because once you understand that, everything else really clicks. Today we're talking teeth, gullets, and grinds. Teeth, gullets, and grinds. First, the teeth. This is an obvious one. Those are the sharp points around the edge of a table saw. The number of teeth matter a lot. Fewer teeth, like 24 in this case, means faster, more aggressive cuts. More teeth, like 60 to 80, means slower cuts, but smoother cuts. We'll come back to that in a second. Next, let's talk gullet, the space between the teeth. It's not there just for looks. It clears out the sawdust as you cut. Bigger gullets mean that more material can be cleared out faster without clogging. Then there's the kerf. That's the width of the cut that the blade makes. One more thing before we get into grind. Thin kerf. Standard blades cut about 1/8 of an inch wide. Thin kerf blades cut narrower, which means less material being removed and less strain on the motor in your table saw. That's really helpful if you're using something like a Ridgid jobsite saw like this one. A thin kerf blade can certainly be worth considering. These saws have smaller motors, and thin kerf blades just let them breathe a little easier. And finally, there's the grind. You've got FTG, or flat top grind, which is basically a chisel. It's aggressive and great for ripping. You've got ATB, which is alternate top bevel, where the teeth are angled, which gives you a cleaner crosscut. There's variations like high ATB, which is an even steeper angle for really clean cuts on things like plywood and veneers. And even an ATB-R, which is an alternating tooth blade with a rake or a scraper blade. Okay, so let's talk blade types and use cases. First up is the ripping blade. This is your workhorse for breaking down rough lumber. 24 teeth, flat top grind, it's fast, it's aggressive, it's going with the grain, and your ripping board's to width. And on a job site saw like this one, it's the blade that you want. A thin kerf 24 tooth rip blade paired with a smaller saw is really a capable combo. It'll move through hardwoods, plywood, sheet goods, and even softwoods without bogging the motor down. The cuts won't be glass smooth with a blade like this, but that's not what it's for. It's for removing material quickly. You'll clean that edge up later. Okay, next up, the 60 to 80 tooth ATB bevel cross-cutting blade. If you're cutting across the grain, that means having to cut through every fiber of the wood. For rough cross-cuts, like breaking down a long board before it goes through the table saw, your cordless circular saw, even with a good ATB blade like this one and a speed square, is actually the better tool. Today we're going to use a 6.5 inch bladed Milwaukee for exactly that purpose. But when finish quality matters for things like cabinet parts, trim pieces, anything where there's end grain showing, that's when you want to bring in a table saw or a crosscut miter saw with a finer crosscut blade. Those alternating bevels slice through the wood fibers cleanly instead of tearing through them. And the result, well, you get a smooth, almost finished edge with a blade like this. The 60 to 80 tooth ATB blade is what I reach for when I'm cutting cabinet parts, trim pieces, or anything where the end grain is going to be visible, especially for hardwoods like cherry, maple, and walnut, which I do a lot of projects with. A quality 80 tooth ATB crosscut blade is worth every penny. Let's talk about the combination blade, the 40 tooth ATB plus raker. If you're just starting out and you only want one blade, this is it. This works on table saws, works on circular saws. You grab a thin kerf version like this one, it'll run great even on job site table saws like this Ridgid. The combo blade does the ripping and the cross cutting, not perfectly, and a dedicated blade will outperform it on long rips, and a finer crosscut blade will outperform it with cleaner edges. But for 90% of what a beginner's doing, this gets it done. 40 teeth, ATB plus a raker tooth every few teeth to clear chips. It's a genuine do-it-all blade. In my experience, using combo blades works well initially, but they tend to dull pretty quickly. If you can swing it, you'll have a better experience if you can use a dedicated ripping blade and have another blade that's dedicated for crosscuts. Now let's quickly talk about plywood and sheet goods. Plywood is tough on blades, and it's tough to cut cleanly. Those super micro thin veneers blow out if you're not careful. A high ATB blade with 60 to 80 teeth is the answer. The steep bevel angle shears those fibers instead of blowing through them and tearing them. You get cleaner edges on both faces of the board. Same deal for veneered panels. Don't use your ripping blade on plywood or you'll hate yourself. For other sheet goods like MDF and melamine, let's talk about those. MDF and melamine are a different animal. They're abrasive to start. They'll dull a standard blade pretty fast. For MDF, you want a TCG blade, triple chip grind. It alternates between a flat tooth and a high raker, which handles abrasive materials way better than an alternating tooth blade design. For melamine specifically, I go 80 tooth minimum. The higher tooth count keeps chip out on that brittle surface coating under control. Okay, let's bring it home real quick. Ripping solid wood, grab a 24 tooth ripping blade. It's fast, efficient, it's built for it. Cross-cutting, hardwood, use a 60 or 80 tooth ATB. It gives clean, smooth, finished quality cuts. If you only own one blade, grab a combination blade like a 40 tooth. Start there. Plywood and sheet goods, high ATB, 60 tooth or more. Protect those surfaces. MDF and melamine, TCG blade. The abrasion resistance is the whole point here. And remember, fewer teeth equals faster and rougher. More teeth means slower and smoother. Match the blade to the material and you'll likely spend way more time building and less time sanding. Before I go, one more thing. If you're pretty new to woodworking, the brand of the blade really doesn't matter at all. Don't fall for the marketing gimmicks like PTFE coated for non-stick performance, laser cut expansion slots. Just about every blade has these and has had them for decades. It's nothing new. Anti-vibration geometry and colored blades. The color of any saw blade exists purely for marketing reasons. That's really all there is to it. Blades used to feel a bit more like a mystery to me, but now they're just another tool in the decision-making process. If this video helped you out, please drop a comment below. Let me know what blade you're running or what you've been cutting. I love hearing what you're working on. Till next time, friends, peace, love, and sawdust. Now go make something.